Hi! I'm sure you've seen this trend online where people and brands are using AI to make sort of a starter pack for themselves. But then I also started seeing artists and celebrities even posting actually drawn starter packs, and I thought I would take part. And to keep it as little computer made as possible, I will use traditional media. First let me make a sketch because I don't even know what I want to be in my starter pack. So let's say this part here will be me, and then here will be the things that are in my starter pack. But what? Let me write things down. Like, what do I like or have and own and I can't live without? I have my cat, yarn, then books, or like one book, let's say, my bag that I take everywhere with a water bottle. Okay, so here I want my cat. Okay, beautiful. This is my bag. It's supposed to be a bag, which doesn't look like a bag, but it's a sketch, okay? The water, and then the yarn, and I'll probably be able to fit like needles and a hook here. As for a book, I don't know if I should like draw a book that I am currently reading or that like I recently read or my favorite book, but let's just put a book right now. And I still have room here, and I need to figure out what to do here. How about tea? Or like a kettle and a cup or a mug? I drink from mugs, so probably mug. Okay, well that was easier than I thought. I suppose I know what I like. And then me. Okay, so this is the first sketch. Now I will make an actual sketch, not this like scribbly thing. Okay, not really sure about the dimensions, but and just make a 5mm edge there and here. And here I'll actually do 1 centimeter and let's say, what, 18 centimeters here. And if anything, I can just make it longer this way or just cut it off so that it's even. And I also want to make a line going through the middle. So 6.9 centimeters. Just because I want to do some things that I want to be, you know, in the middle. Like, you know, boxes in stores have those holes here that you hang them on. And I definitely first want to plan out like the boxes, like in the sketch. So like I want to draw this box for myself and then for everything else. I suppose drawing this on a computer would be easier because I wouldn't have to guess about all of the dimensions and all that. So this I want to divide into 4 parts, but the top one I want more narrow and then the other 3 kind of the same size, because I figured I could do like a longer one at the top and put like art supplies here. So this is 12, so maybe this one like 2 centimeters, or rather 1.5, because I still need a little room for the breaks in between the boxes. So let's start with the cat. Okay, so I think this will be actually perfect. Okay, next up I have the bag. It's more or less square. I also don't think I want the strap to go around like I drew it in the other sketch. I think I just want it like here and going behind and then coming back here. I think it looks better than just hanging like that in the air. Oh yeah, that looks much better than whatever I drew there. Now for the yarn, let's make one big skein maybe, and then a small one here, and then the needles, and a hook will fit perfectly here. Okay, well this was quick. And here let's do the book first, because it doesn't need a lot of room, and my tea stuff will need way more. I'm thinking if I even should include the kettle. Like, doesn't it take too much room? I mean, if I draw the cup here, that's fine, but then I would have to draw something else here. Maybe a tea bag. And for the art supplies, I'll just draw a few different things, like watercolors, and then of course brushes and paint again. Let's say these are acrylic. What else? Oh, a sketchbook. Well, I have to draw in something or paint in something, and a pencil. And I think I should also draw colored pencils, but do I just draw like a stack of them here? Or, well, no, I don't want to draw them in a box. Or if anything, maybe it should be like an open box. So now I think comes the hardest part of drawing myself. I haven't drawn in a while, so I feel like it might be hard for me, especially since it has to be symmetrical. So let's just start like more or less with the proportions. So say like the head would be here and legs here. I have to make sure not to make them too short because I do have a tendency to do that. I think what I need to do with some parts is to like measure out. So say here the hip, how wide it is from the middle. So here it's like 1.3. So then I go to 2.5. Let's say that 2.5 because it's not fully 1.3. So here to make it, you know, symmetrical, like as symmetrical as I can. And also making it so that it's like at the same level, you know? So not like I have a knee here and then another knee's here, you get me? Now I kind of wish I did it on a computer because I could make it symmetrical easier. Why is it so hard to draw in symmetry? Like, I don't get it. Okay, I do want the arms to be like a little stiff looking, like dolls that you see in boxes, something like that. Now I will draw like more or less the feet, which I think would be the most problematic part. I hate drawing feet, especially like a front view like that. Okay, I honestly don't think that's too bad. For now, obviously I'll draw them better later when I'm drawing shoes, but maybe now I should tackle the face. This is really hard, so small and from afar, like from where I'm sitting. But if I wanted to get closer, you'd only see my head. I'm actually really happy how quickly the face turned out to be alright. Okay, now let's put some clothes on her. On me? On me. Let's put clothes on me. So, for pants, I'm definitely just doing a pair of jeans. I do have a trusty pair of jeans that I wear a lot, so it only makes sense to draw that. And for the top, I'll just make a regular t-shirt. That is something that I wear the most, but maybe I'll just give it like one of those rolled up sleeves, because I do have a few shirts that do that. I feel like I was going over the same spots so many times while drawing this that I won't be able to get rid of the pencil and that it will be visible when I'm painting, but we'll see. And again, the worst part, the shoes. Just do like sneakers. How did shoes even look like? Wait. Okay, I'm literally holding a shoe right now in front of me and drawing what I'm seeing. Okay, that doesn't look the best, but it's not like awful. Okay, now I will go over everything with a pen and I will see you then. And here is the drawing line, minus the book cover, but about that in a second. And for the title, I just typed in my name in Clip Studio and picked whatever font I liked. And this corner was really empty, so I just wrote 100% human-made to fill that space. But now let me start painting, and I will talk about it more when I'm painting. I want to start with the background, and I think I'll just use the mineral violet because I just like how it just has different colors in it, and I think that will look cool as a background, and it's purple. I don't really mind if it's not super flat and there's like creases, like here probably I'll have a crease, but that's really fine. This is a really big area, so I can't pretend like I'll be able to just have everything as flat as I want it. Oh, and I did cut a little bit at the bottom. It was like a centimeter or so, just like I said, so that the top and the bottom are the same and it just looks better. So the book cover. It's a cover of Daughter of Smoke and Bone, which is my favorite book. Unfortunately, I really don't like the cover. I know there is a re-release and it has different, better covers, but I did want to draw the original one, even though I don't like it, just because it is the one that I read when it first came out. And it is also the one that I own, so it, you know, it made sense. And the reason why I didn't line it is because I find it really hard to line, just because it's really dark itself and everything looks like it's, you know, in a shadow. So what I will do is I will just use a black paint to draw whatever is, you know, black on the cover, and then I'll use either a white color pencil or a white gel pen to draw everything that isn't black, like the letters. I think whatever blue there is in this color went to the bottom of the palette, because right now I'm picking up mostly like bluish tints, which isn't a bad thing. I kind of like how it looks, but it's just funny, I didn't think that would happen. Okay, and for the insides of the boxes, I will use the same color, but just more diluted, so that it's lighter. Oh, and I did write Bonnie included, just to have like some phrases, you know, like in actual doll boxes, or just any toys. So next I want to start with the items that are here, and I think I will leave painting myself until the end. So let me just start from the top, and this palette will be the easiest because I will just use the colors straight from the actual palette. Okay, perfect. So now for the brushes. For these, I'm also just using the colors straight from the palette as well, except for the black, which I needed to dilute to get a lighter silver. And this paint tube, I can just do any color that I want. So how about a blue? Or you know what? Let me do teal. I think it would look nice. But the sketchbook, I think I have to mix because it is light pink. Like a very light pastel pink. So I'll add a little bit of blue to this pink, like a tiny bit. And the pencil, I'm just gonna paint like a generic yellow pencil. So the top box is all done, and now for the tea box. And what I did here is I took inspiration from one of my previous videos. It was the Scroller Box 104. Where I made like a hodgepodge of tea stuff. So here I will just paint the same kettle and the same cup as in that drawing. Okay, for now I think I will leave the book alone because I don't want to mess with that right now. So I will go ahead and do the bag. And for that I think I will need a more muted green, which I have here. And I want to get like a blurred background, so what I'm doing right now is I'll just lay some water down. And now I will lay down a black. Now the yarn, the big one, maybe I'll just do a lighter blue. And then the other one, I'll do this pink. And honestly, I'll just go ahead and paint my bottle in, and it's just like a hot pink, so this will be perfect. It's so funny to me that for most of those items, I was able to just use the colors straight from the palette. I didn't think I would be able to do it. And now it is time to paint my cat. I forgot to press play when I was laying down the color, but honestly, I think I should darken the whole cat because it just looks like my family's Russian blue. And you know, that's not what I'm going for. Okay, it's time for the dreaded book cover, and I need to pack a lot of that color. And she's wearing a feather mask on her face, so I'm just flicking the black into it so that it looks like the feathers, and so that I can just go in with the blue later on. I think the eyes are the worst part here because they're just so small and it doesn't really read. Like, this is just an opening in the mask and it just looks like her actual eyes. Honestly, right now, I'm not sure if I want to write the title because it's just so tiny, but I will figure it out later. Right now, I want to move on to painting myself. And first, I will paint the skin, and I have the color here. And now that this is drying, let me paint the jeans. Okay, so now I think I can paint the hair, and this burnt sienna will be perfect, I think. That is actually spot on. And before I do the lighter part of my hair, let me do maybe the shoes. I went in and added some gray to the jeans to make them darker and a little less saturated. And now I only have one thing to paint before I move on to some minor details, and that is my shirt. And I was thinking I would paint it with this teal color. I think it would tie in nicely with some of the other things in this painting. Okay, so I think this is good. So now let me move on to the details. And by details, I actually just mean going over some spots with a white pen. And I also will use it here so that it has that, you know, plastic container feel. Okay, I think that's good for the pen. And now I will just use the white color pencil. Can't even see it. Okay, well then I will not do that because you can't even see it. And I think the cover itself tells you what book it is if you know the book. Okay, so that will be it for today. I really enjoyed drawing this starter pack and, well, figuring out what to draw to begin with. And I hope you enjoyed watching it as well. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!